Welcome to the Indie Corner. We'll talk about all things independent comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Seamus.
And today, people, we're back at it again, another episode of the Indie Corner. And now we're back to doing one and done, Seamus. Can you believe it? We're back to actually covering books.
We're home. We're here. We decided. We're sick of talking about news. We want to talk about reading.
Yeah, we want to encourage y'all to read. So
we're up in these one by one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, this is our first, first official one and done of the year. Even though like it's already
6 months in, 6 months in. We got there. That's what matters.
Yeah, but yeah. So first one and done of the year. Excited because obviously as of the time of this recording, it is the last day of June, which means it is the last day of Pride Month.
Yes,
so happy Pride to the gays and the theys. We love y'all, appreciate y'all. Especially some of the members on the Unicorn themselves are a part of the LGBTQIA plus community. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing a Pride special, like a last day Pride special. So yeah. So Seamus, you want to tell the people the book we're gonna be doing if they haven't, saw the thumbnail?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's self-explanatory. I wonder what kinky book we will do for Pride Month. I wonder if there are any specifically kinky books that we continue to reference on this channel as one of our favorites.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. This book.
Are we in sex criminals, Mikey? Are we gonna be talking about maybe something else?
I want to get back to sex criminals, especially when the show's coming out.
What our favorite comic is, Mikey?
I know, right? What is our favorite, Pride, that demonstrates pride and just, kinkiness?
What is our favorite Yuri novel?
What's our favorite Yuri novel? Facts. Yeah, people from the thumbnail, we're going to be talking about the wonderful book, Sunstone. Sunstone, written and drawn by the very talented Stjepan Sejic. If I mispronounced that name, I apologize. It's a very Croatian name.
I think you actually did hit that. That was actually
I try. But yeah, this is a long time coming. We've been referencing this book ever since we started the channel. We've been wanting to do this book for years. Because for the namesake of Sunstone, if you can't tell from the cover that I got over here, it is a very adult book. So you know how we typically do things in one and dones, we like to show some of the pages. This was extremely hard to show. So yeah, that's the nature of the game. We're gonna be doing another kinky book. The last, I guess, adult kinky book we did was Somna from Distillery. Me and Rebecca did that for Pride Month, and that book I thought was really good. But this is a classic. This is one of my favorite comics. Indie comics is one of my first indie comics. I got into this book back when I was in high school because that's when I discovered Stjepan Sejic as an artist just before I read this book. He was actually the first digital artist that I ever saw, because I've only known artists that done stuff traditionally, but he was the first digital artist I ever saw. I used to watch some of his YouTube video time lapses on him working on Photoshop.
Yeah, I was gonna say he feels like one of the first artists, I guess, of the DeviantArt era type way of releasing artwork and stuff like that to kind of really break into doing comics, at least from what I have heard of, because it's very much the same with me where I too also heard of him through just seeing his artwork online when I was scrolling through at 10 years old. So his name then go on comics and then be put out as you know what I mean? It was very cool to see.
Yeah, it's awesome. And to see just literally I felt back from looking at stuff back then from now, you see just how much he's grown as an artist and how much his reputation has grown, as an artist as well. I mean, I follow him on IG. He also still he does streams on Twitch and just draws on Twitch all the time. But we'll get into more of Stjepan Sejic in a bit before we go into the actual book. But but people, as always, if you haven't already, if you've been rocking with us for a while, we love you, appreciate you. If you haven't, if you're just finding us, please, do the typical thing, like and subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and hit the notification bell so you know when we drop new content. So yeah, we will get right into it. So yeah, for starters, before we even get into the actual book, I want to give a little bit of background just on Stjepan Sejic, and his work and his kind of unapologetic universe that he's built along that he's built with Sunstone, and yeah, so we'll get right into it. So for starters, let me just share the screen right quick. So for starters, Stjepan Sejic, as I said again, he's a well-known digital artist, originating from Croatia. That's him right here, and his wife. His wife is also a well-known, really well-established creator as well in her own right, also very talented. And so Stjepan and Linda both from Croatia. I believe they were also like high school sweethearts, as well. And yeah, like they were, pretty much like, had the same passions for art, studied art together at university, and for and pretty much have been working across, they've done some like independent work, self-published work. They've also done she's also done covers for like Marvel, DC. But what Seamus said before, what we talking about, yeah, but he mostly kind of got his start on posting stuff on the now defunct site because it's ravaged by AI at this point, DeviantArt. And like I said, I always saw his work online, on DeviantArt a lot. He was posting character sheets, concept artwork, as well as comics as well. Like, he used to just drop comics for free. And here's some of his works that he's done. I don't know, he's known. A lot of people know him more so of Harleen, that came out like a couple years ago. That was like really well praised. I think it was nominated for an Eisner, I believe. And then also some of his digital painting work. What the first thing that I knew of him, Seamus, because people that don't know, I'm a huge fan of like Witchblade in the Darkness, and the first like Witchblade adjacent thing that I ever saw was this book on the right, Switch, which was a self published book that he dropped online on DeviantArt for free. You can still read it, and it was pretty much like his rendition of like what if with the Witchblade like occurred like today, like in like, well, at least at the time in the 2000s, with a young teenager getting the Witchblade, and at the same time he had a character who went to school, this character went to school with, who was an estacado and was getting like visions and nightmares of like the darkness every time he went to sleep, of him, the darkness being like, I'm gonna claim you when you're 18. So yeah, it was really dope. It was really dope, and just seeing his art really inspired me because I'm a digital artist myself. And yeah, like he pretty much got his start on DeviantArt, dropped the book Switch is like his first official kind of like book, that like webcomic, and it caught the eyes of Image and Top Cow. Top Cow owns the rights to the Witchblade, and they kind of picked him up, and he became artist on Witchblade for a little bit in the 2000s. And literally is like, that's like some of my favorite art on the character is him on Witchblade. I love his Witchblade art so much. But while he was doing that, he also did, I think, like another published book under Top Cow. He always works specifically with Top Cow. He doesn't work with any other Image properties, only Top Cow. But he did another book called Ravine for Top Cow. He worked on like Aphrodite 9 as well. He did a bunch of Top Cow titles. But he decided he wanted to release his own project, his own his own webcomic, his own project after doing Switch and doing Witchblade and these other properties for a while. And he decided to do this book right here, Sunstone, which originally was made on DeviantArt as well. So you can actually, again, you can read all of Sunstone for free, all of his books that he's done outside of Harleen. All the self-published books you can read on DeviantArt for free still. But he did Sunstone on DeviantArt, and he had it all collected under Top Cow. And with Sunstone, he decided to not only have Sunstone was just a start, but with he decided to kind of like kind of make his own little universe, spinning off of Sunstone. And this is the kind of the section that I like to call Stjepan Sejic into the Perverse, where he made his own spin-off universe outside of Sunstone. And those books have included Sunstone, the book Fine Print, the book Bloodstain, that is actually a creation of his wife. He only, I believe, only colors the book, but his wife, does the writing and the penciling, as well as the book Punderworld, also by his wife, and the kind of the crossover book of all of the perverse characters, Crimson After Hours. So yeah, that's pretty much this has pretty much been his like kind of magnum opus, his baby for the past I don't know how many years at this point. But yeah, he's a very well accomplished creator. I'm a diehard fan of his work till this day. And he's one of my inspirations as a creator for sure. Seamus, are you familiar with I know obviously we're Sunstone fans. That's how we bonded when we first met. Like, yo, you read Sunstone? That's how we bonded. What have you read the other books in the Perverse? Do you have any other thoughts on them? If you have,
yeah, they're good. They're not as good. They're not as I don't want to say not as good as Sunstone. Mm-hmm. I personally don't like them as much as Sunstone, but they're not bad. They're good. They're fun. If you like the stuff in Sunstone, then like you probably will at least, like me, have fun with like Fine Print and Bloodstain. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've only read Sunstone. I've not read the rest. But I remember, shout out to Comic Drake. He dropped a video a few months ago explaining the whole Perverse, and he also interviewed Stjepan and Linda. I'll probably drop a link in the description so y'all can check that out. But yeah, after he went through all the synopses of the other books, I'm like, yeah, I gotta read the rest of these. And it's interesting because with the whole Perverse as a whole, for the peoples, is it erotica? Yes, but like sex and like, for instance, BDSM, which is like a big part of Sunstone, like Linda and Stjepan are actually members of like the BDSM community and they actively practice BDSM. But it's not really like it's a part of the books, and like, but like they are like but it's not like the main focus. The main focus of most of these books are about the relationships between people, and love and connection.
It's more, it's less of like, I was gonna say, it's less of like just like porn, and more of just like, it's more like if you were reading an AO3 fanfic that also had pictures. You know what I mean? Like, it's more about the words being said than it is about what's going on visually.
Exactly. And yeah, like, and it's really well done. And also we're gonna go into the book, but like Sunstone, Fine Print, are more kind of similar. Well, Sunstone is pretty much a grounded, like, slice of life story between two young women kind of falling in love through like a shared hobby of theirs, which is BDSM. Fine Print, I know it's more of a supernatural, erotic type of deal. Bloodstain, I know it's kind of like, it's more horror. And then Punderworld is pretty much like, it's similar to Lore Olympus. It's kind of like a love story between Hades and Persephone. And then, however, from what Comic Drake has described, Crimson After Hours, which is a crossover between all the characters from across the Perverse, it's literally just like what you expect all these books to be. It's just straight, just characters talking to each other and just smashing. That's all it is.
We're gonna get on that, Mikey. Where have we been?
I mean, that's what I mean.
Like, what the fuck? Why didn't anyone tell me this was happening?
I know, right? No, hey, listen. If the people want us to go through the whole Perverse, I'm down. All right. So maybe we'll get. So get them likes up, and then we'll see. Maybe we'll one day get through the whole Perverse. But yeah, I think this is great. Again, Stjepan Sejic, Linda Sejic as well, fantastic creators. So yeah, that's pretty much the Perverse people and Stjepan Sejic and his work. Any thoughts, Seamus, before we move on to the book?
No, I fucking love them.
Yeah, man, they're the best, bro. They're the best. Yeah, so we'll get started. So let's start with now getting to Sunstone Volume 1, people. And the thing is not going to be like the usual way we do things. Like we always separate things by issue, but the issue is Sunstone doesn't have like separated, like there wasn't released in issues, or it doesn't have chapters. It was just one. It's just one giant story just collected into a trade. So like we're just gonna go through the entire thing, just like read it and weep and just be done with it. So yeah. Yeah. Also, just thoughts real quick, Seamus, on the cover. I mean, it's the cover that started it all.
I like it. It's for me a little simple, but I think it needs to be a little simple, especially if it's the first issue of your erotic BDSM rom-com. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I get it, but also like this really does feel kind of just like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty standard cover. I know they're re-releasing. They're later this year. They're going to be re-releasing. Actually, not later this year. I think next month they're going to be re-releasing new trades, and they changed the cover for like most of them. And the cover for Volume 1 looks great. Like it looks really good.
I was going to say, yeah, seeing like a Sejic cover now, but for Sunstone would be like, you'd be like, okay. Got it. And so hearing that, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we'll get right into it. And Seamus, like, since we're gonna do one thing, we'll just go through it and then like chime in whenever, bro. That's what I'm
saying. I'll just cut in whenever I feel like saying it.
Exactly. So the story kind of starts off with kind of the introduction of our two main characters, Ali and Lisa. But the story is told through Ali in third person. Ali in the future kind of like writing a kind of like a blog post or a book, because Ali is Lisa is an aspiring writer, and she wants to kind of like tell the story of like her, this like secret part of her life that she doesn't really like share much with people, and how it involved kind of like her first love. And I love the fact that, like, you know, in order for people to get onto the book, like it's kind of meta in a way. She's like I'm I'm gonna tell you the story of how me and how me and the love of my life, how we first met. And she's like, wait, don't leave yet. This book has lots of hot lesbian bondage sex to get your attention. I love that.
Get a real man.
Yeah, it's so she does it to get your attention, and then she just goes on the spiel of like, you know, of the start of the story. And I want to say real quick, because I'm going to talk a lot about the art, because the art is amazing in this book. But Stjepan was the first art creator I've ever seen really play with like panel work and speech bubbles. Like him and Linda both use very intricate speech bubbles to portray like different emotions that the characters are going through. So like literally, like if a character's feeling sad, this speech bubble will literally portray sadness by the way it's designed, or anger, or frustration, or anxiety. Like it's really well done, and also just the way they do panels. But at the same time, you see the artwork here, because Seamus, you can also attest this. There's parts where like the artwork looks kind of like typical like digital paint, like typical like, you know, digital art, like, you know, pretty like some like clean line work, but like not really that crazy on the color. But when scenes get more intense or more emotionally heavy, they become super painted, like, and like hyper detailed. So yeah, you'll see. But yeah, so pretty much we get kind of the introduction of Lisa telling us about her her first time meeting her future love of her life, Ali. And they met on a message board, Ali going by the name Ali Cat, and we get this amazing page which I love, of kind of the story of kind of like going through both of their own backstories, while at the same time done through this amazing panel work of like a corset being like woven, and Lisa on the right and Ali on the left kind of tying the corset where their stories are kind of coming to, like, the stories are connected by with the cord, like that's tying the corset. It's crazy. Like it's
well, because the cord connects them, but is also like a tie of bondage, but is also like the corset that connects them, and you're like, oh shit,
yeah,
this is already crazy for a BDSM fucking comic book. I'm already locked in.
I know, right? It's really interesting. Well, we pretty much get kind of the backstories.
I was gonna say, if I ever write a Batman comic, sorry Sejic, I'm stealing this and using it for when I introduce Batman and Catwoman's relationship.
I would.
Batman's gonna be tied up too. Batman, I do it.
That would be amazing. But yeah. So pretty much these 2 pages are going through each of their kind of backstories. How they go through the fact that how for instance Allie started watching, like kind of like how both of them kind of came into their own sexuality and kind of knew kind of the roles they wanted to play in said sexuality. How Allie, like, you know, from discovering, you know, watching adult material at a young age, she got kind of really intrigued by the idea of like domination and just being a dom, and how, you know, she tried to express that as she got older. Met a character who was one of my favorite characters in the book, Alan. They briefly mentioned how they did it in college while they met, and how it didn't really work out because Alan was also a dom, and 2 doms together aren't really, you know, compatible with each other. But like she's never really had, like, outside of Alan, she's never really had someone like a sub to actually like play around with. So like she discovered Allie on this message board. Allie, on the other hand, just also at kind of a similarly discovering, you know, her sexuality at a young age, and also the fact that, you know, she discovered that like how she loved the idea of submission and the idea of concept of like, you know, being tied or being, you know, completely vulnerable in someone else's hands. How she tried to portray that with, you know, regular heterosexual relationships when she was discovering her sexuality, but it's not really being as fulfilling. And that kind of also was shared by, you know, her meeting Allie online. And the panel kind of ends with, you know, Lisa saying to Allie that she would like to meet, like they would actually finally like to meet because they've been talking for a few months. And Allie, and I love how like it's so real to the point where like once that message is sent, Allie kind of freaks out and is like, oh wait, she actually wants to meet. Like, holy shit. And it's like, oh, what do I do? And Allie and Lisa at the same time was like panicking that she sent the message. Like, it's kind of a common theme in this book where it's like you'll experience like a few things with this book. How you'll learn a lot about BDSM and how the actual, like, you know, community actually works, and also to how realistic and like very real and raw the characters are, because this is a very realistic like interaction. You know.
I like her sending it and then immediately panicking and being like, holy shit. Holy shit. And then Allie receiving it and being like, holy shit. And both of them are just absolutely tweaking.
Yeah. But Lisa and Allie, Lisa pretty much they're talking, and they're saying like, yo, like we actually, Allie says she's really down to meet, and also that, you know, she wants to make sure that the intention of the meeting is understood. Lisa says, you know, yeah, I understand like the purpose of the meeting, that she'll send her address and that they'll, you know, meet Friday, which is in 3 days. So now they're both kind of panicking and, you know, nervous and, you know, excited at the same time. And Allie's so excited that she ends up calling Alan in the middle of the night. And, you know, he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go back to bed. This chick's crazy. So it cuts to the next morning. Alan's kind of getting ready for start his day. Lisa immediately like rings on his doorbell, barters into his apartment, hands him coffee, and, you know, being a little rude, but she's just like, you know, hey, I brought coffee, I'm not a complete asshole.
Yeah.
And they kind of start planning. They start planning, you know, for that night on Friday. And what Alan does for background. Alan is a builder of various equipment and furniture and tools and outfits used for clubs and parties and events and shows within the BDSM community. So he makes all the crazy shit you see in BDSM. Alan builds all of it and designs all of it. And I was like,
he's a kinky carpenter.
Honestly, yeah. Like, and it's like it's pretty cool. So Lisa, so Allie and Alan are talking, and she's talking about how she needs a bed with a bunch of rings on it, and she talks about like the different positions she wants, Lisa to be in, and she's pretty much taking all that information and is designing something for her. So it's pretty cool. And at the same time, Lisa is an inspiring writer. It cuts to her at a library trying to write like her book. Like, that's like her dream. I believe it takes place in New York, Seamus. I could be wrong. I just felt like it just felt like a New York type of thing. Yeah, Allie's a typical girl moving to the big city to pursue her dreams. And her dream is to be a writer. But at the time being, like how everyone else does, to pursue the dream, she just has to get a regular job to pay ends meet, so she works at a diner. And the fact that she is trying her best to kind of start writing her book and focus, but yet she keeps delineating to her thoughts on Friday because she's nervous and anxious and exciting, and she's just not getting anything done. And she's so awestruck and so just like brain rotted by what's going on that like someone comes up to her and is like, "Are you okay? Like, I thought you looked like you're having a stroke there for a second." And she's like reassures them and says, she's good. And I love the fact that she one thing she's just like, "Holy crap!" Almost had Helen and the Empress almost had Helen and the Empress fuck you, one track mind. Like, she's dogging on herself. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so while she's writing her book, Alan shows, I don't have this page, but Alan shows Allie the design of like the bed that she wants, and it's literally just like a bed with a bunch of rings everywhere. And we'll talk about what all those rings are for in a sec later on. But later on that day, on Thursday, Alan is moving the bed up to Allie's apartment with this other guy who I'm assuming is a mover, and has done similar jobs for Alan in the past, and it's a rush job, so it's time is money. So I love the part where Allie runs into her neighbor, and her neighbor is literally just like, it's an old lady named Mrs. Kramer, and Mrs. Kramer is like, "Oh my gosh, you sure get a lot of furniture sent up to your room by that man. What are all the rings for? Is it a coat hanger?" Just like, yeah, it's a bed, and it's just like, yeah, like it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like it's not really a secret, but she's like kind of like embarrassed by when people ask about what she does. She's like why she's getting all this furniture and stuff for people that aren't in the community. I think it's very interesting. But yeah, though they get the bed set, they get the bed up there. The guy has to leave because he has a meeting, but so he's gonna leave Alan to assemble it all by himself, which he does a few hours later. And he even says I think I got a slip disc from it, and literally just says it was also this girl Lisa, you guys only talked for a few months. You have actually you guys only for the first time have agreed to meeting each other, and also she's never, at least he also knows that Lisa's never, Allie's never had a sub before. What if she just doesn't show, and she said even if she doesn't show, I have an extra bed to sleep in. He's like, well, listen, good luck, and if you need me, just always call. Also, she mentions, I think I said this, I think this passes, but they mention the one time that Allie try to have a sub other than himself, and turns out that person was dating Alan at the time, and it's a very complicated thing that they don't really like to talk about. But she mentions to Alan, like, are you still like that? Like, because I guess things broke off between the two of them. Was like, are you still hung up on her? He's like, yeah, I think about her all the time. And it's like, damn, real shit.
A little too real.
The next Friday morning, Allie wakes up, hard for her to sleep because she's just too nervous, and it's a lot of emotions. She's filled with emotions right now, and and the fact that she's like nervous that she has to meet Lisa later and be a dominatrix for the first time. Like, this is her moment. This is the moment that she's been waiting for. And she's a little nervous, but like she's super excited. And it cuts to, Lisa, same thing. Like, she's getting ready, she's nervous, and it's like, this is some real shit. Like literally, like, it's like kind of like two people, online dating meeting for the first time, or two online friends meeting for the first time. Like, it's very, like, very relatable in terms of like getting jitters, being anxious, but also being excited for what's to come. Like, it's again really real shit.
Meeting for the first time.
We'll say that again, Seamus?
I said two roommates meeting for the first time.
Yeah, stuff like that. So it's a pretty similar kind of scenario. So it transitions to them, getting ready. And I have this page, Seamus, because I didn't think this page was that bad. But you get this amazing page of like both of them trying on different outfits to be like, oh, like, this doesn't seem right, or like, this looks like it's too much. Like, it's like they're kind of like getting ready for the night. Really well done artwork by Stjepan, and yeah, like, and the fact that one thing that kind of comes up is that even though it's the first time we're meeting each other, but also the fact that like the fact that also it's like she's her first kind of dom is a woman. Like, what if it doesn't really work out because we have kind of similar persistent personalities and stuff like that. And like, and the thing is like, yeah, it kind of also adds a point where like, we've flirted on webcam and stuff before in the past, but like, what if it's different? Like both kind of Allie's kind of having they're both kind of having second thoughts about what's going on, and they're just nervous and they're just trying to relax. But it goes to the lead up to Allie going to her place, ringing the doorbell, and Lisa, and then Allie opens the door, and you expect it to go off, kind of smoothly, but while they first, they introduce each other, they shake hands, all that stuff. Obviously, they can tell that each other's nervous. Allie, and at the same time, Lisa's just like, I gotta pee, and literally, like, there's a moment of doubt on her expression on her face. Lisa is Allie's thinking, oh shit, like, seeing that doubt of expression on her face, she's like, oh, she's not into it, like, this is gonna be, it's gonna be a wreck. But she's like, no, actually, no, I have to pee. Like, can I please go upstairs? Can I please go to your bathroom? Immediately, she's like, yeah, of course. Like, it's upstairs, on the upstairs to your left. And she's like, thank you. So she runs up to the bathroom. She's like, you want me to take your coat? She's like, no. Runs. And this is one of my favorite moments where it's like, she's like, well, I'll read it verbatim. She's like, holy crap, she made that pleading expression. It's adorable. Like, it's like, oh my God, it's like, oh, like even though, yeah, they're meeting for the first time and stuff, but like, like there's little moments where like, oh no, she's finding reasons to be into her, and it's like, it's so cute. It's a really nice moment. And then while Lisa's using the bathroom, again, she's just, again, it's the same thing. She's nervous. She's worried that, maybe she overreacted in the moment. Like, everything was, she's second guessing herself. But later on, when they sit down together, have tea and talk for the first time, it's nice. It goes into like kind of like an awkward, like, silence, but then next thing you know, they're talking like they're friends reuniting, for the first time, and it's very casual, very nice until they have a lot of common, and and then they kind of get a little like, and I love how like Stjepan, the more panels we go, the closer we zoom in, and the closer that they get to each other, and yeah, it's like, you know, we were talking, and for like a few hours later, we knew like it was time, and they were just like, you know, so like, he's like, you sure you want to still do this? You know, like, you know, obviously, you know, asking for consent and all that, which is great. Always ask for consent. And she's like, yes, I do. And they share a kiss, and literally, like, you know, and then like, I love how Lisa said, like, you know, kissing her freaked her out a little bit, but you know, but once it happened, like, you know, it just, you know, it felt like it felt right, like, but like, you know, but like it not, it's like, but it's maybe like, you know, kissing her just felt right, and it made me, and it made her a lot more comfortable, and then like literally like kind of like sparks flew, because when after the kiss, she's like, whoa, like it catches her off guard, and you know, she's like, yeah, and then they pretty much, you know, now things are getting a little steamy, little steamy, and they pretty much kind of they pretty much kind of start the process of now the BDSM dominatrix sub thing of it all, and yeah, they pretty much teach us that, like, you know, you should start taking off your coat and getting comfortable, and we get this amazing page, and again, it's more of that, like, you know, when things get more intense emotionally, like Stjepan really amps up the detail, and yeah, we get this amazing page of just like now of Ali explaining the rules of what's going on. The fact, like, you know, pretty much in terms of basic rule of BDSM is like, you know, things will be, you know, things will be more gentle, nothing too crazy, you know, pretty much kind of attacking her with like tenderness, you know, kind of like gradually like starting soft and then working their way up until Lisa says the word mistress. That's when she loses any control, like, of herself, and that pretty much Ali has permission to do whatever she wants to her. And pretty much she said, like, you know, and Ali pretty much said that, like, you know, how like, it's like, you know, it's like she says, like, why would I choose to say it? And she said, I'll be a little persuasive. I can be very persuasive. But also, obviously, with BDSM, there's only one. Obviously, you have to have a code word in order for that. The only word that's going to have complete, that's going to give Lisa complete control of Ali. At least tell her to stop. And at the same time, while she's explaining this, Lisa was Lisa's saying how all of this was rehearsed. Like this entire scenario has been planned from the very beginning, and the word that she decides to choose, a safe word, is the word Sunstone, which is why the book is titled Sunstone, is because that is the safe word that is used. And
then Lisa turns and goes, "Say that again."
I know, right, dude? Like, it's like when you read this book, it's just like,
say that again.
Like when you read this book, it's just like, you know, I'm like, damn, like,
what are we, Mikey? Some kind of sunstone?
What are we, some kind of sunstone? And it's like, yeah, but when you read this book, you're like, sheesh, like, it's like Stjepan Sejic, like, because these are his words, like, he's writing, like, this dude kind of has riz, like, this dude has massive amounts of riz, like, it kind of gets you.
Got game.
Like, damn,
we got it.
Wago. And I love the fact that, like, once she says it, and then she says, you know, shall we begin? He's like, but I thought it was supposed to end it, like, because she already said it already. He's like, oh wait, I thought it was over, and she's like, oh, smart ass. All right, again, so she, like, there's this really good balance of like it's like, I love how he likes to separate like the sexual intensity of it with like humor. I think it's so great.
It's realistic. It's very fun, and it makes the book fun because you're just
exactly
half the time.
Like, especially when like you watch stuff like in movies, like how like sex is portrayed in film, where it's like, you know, very like, you know, it's very hypersexualized, and
they're afraid to get silly with it.
Yeah,
that's real.
like the reality of, like, you know, the reality of sex is like, it's awkward. It's never perfect. It's always, you know,
it's funny.
Like, it's funny. It's silly. So like, I like how like he embraces that in this. So while they're going up, so they're ready to like to begin. They go up to upstairs, and Lisa immediately goes to the room that's marked Allie's room with like this huge like caution sign. This is Allie's room. It's like, so we go in here, and then Lisa goes immediately in front of her, like, no, like that I know that we're not going in there. The room is that away. And then Lisa's immediately like, wait, why did you want me to go in there? Red flag. Like it's like the alarm bells are ringing, but like she's like giving it a pass for now, and Lisa's kind of being like, ooh. And sorry, Allie's like, ooh, that was close. So like the question is, Seamus, what's in that room that she doesn't want Lisa to know about? We'll never know in this volume. So
her wife's head. It's her wife's
her
head.
Wife's head. She's a serial killer.
Yeah, that's what's in the box.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. But while this is happening, like they're like now they're starting, taking off some clothes, and they're getting, and at the same time while this happening, they're getting like really nervous.
I'm taking off my clothes, yeah.
Yeah, James like where James is taking off his clothes.
Everyone's taking off their clothes because it's getting hot in here, Mikey.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Nelly.
Shout out Nelly.
But yeah, but like the more they kind of strip and get more vulnerable, the more comfortable they are with each other, and like it becomes more and more natural, and they get more and more playful. And yeah, like and then this is the part where, and then at one point Allie gets a piece of like rope or some string, and I remember, Lisa, I can't correct me if I'm wrong, but Lisa kind of said that like she isn't really a fan of rope, but like it's something that she kind of got used to just with time. I could be wrong, but it cuts to a part where she really there's a flashback to when she was 18, and she is kind of like practicing bondage on herself while tying herself up. Like she said she would wait when her parents weren't home and her brothers were away, and like literally like practice bondage on herself. And the fact that she was only used to like tying herself up in bondage and rope with herself, but she wasn't like mentally prepared for someone else doing it to her, so it's a lot more exciting, and it turns her on more. So, and I love at the end of that flashback, it cuts to like when she's tied up her hands and her feet, and she puts like the makeshift like gag in her mouth, and that's when her mom comes in, like comes home from home, and she's like, hey Lisa, we want to help you with the groceries, and she's like, it's like, what the fuck? It's hilarious. But yeah, it's like but yeah, it's so it cuts. So after that, it's like like, in the fact that she kept like once she's tied to the new bed that that Alan made for Allie, like she's completely vulnerable now. She's at Lisa's and she's pretty much at Lisa's, not disposal, but like not Allie's, just like Allie's disposable. Like Allie can, like, she loves that kind of like trapness, that vulnerability and all that stuff. And Allie does some more persuading. She acts on that persuasion. I can't describe what it is because we don't want to like get flagged on YouTube. But she goes. It becomes too much for Allie to help. Too much for Lisa to help, and Lisa ends up calling her mistress, and therefore Allie whips out a collar for Lisa to put on, and pretty much explains, yeah, like now literally anything that you say outside of our safe word, like I can pretty much do whatever I want to. And they pretty much, once they move from one room, they go to another, where Allie kind of tells her to put this custom outfit that she had made for her on, and then we actually know this is where we get onto the actual bed that Alan made for her. And she's wearing latex, and and I love the way she describes it. It's like with latex, even though it feels sticky and yeah, the rubber smell is like kind of gross, but you kind of get used to it, but it kind of feels kind of like lotion, kind of like a second skin, like kind of like wearing it feels like it's a part of you. And the fact that Allie made that for her really meant a lot to her, and it really, like, it really built up anticipation and like the fact and I love how and she kind of embraces calling Allie her mistress. Like she's fully like this is the thing. Like this entire experience so far is the thing that her as well as Allie have been like longing for, and they take advantage of it. And we get this amazing page. Like I had to censor it. I had to put this page. I thought it was a really well executed page, but I had to censor the shit out of it. So like, but yeah, it cuts this page of Lisa putting on the latex, putting on the corset, you know, the stock, like the latex stockings, the gloves, and then Allie strapping her onto the bed in that position that she told Alan about, and then she says this: I sure do hope you are feeling comfortable because this is going to be a long, fun night. And Allie in third person said, and it really, really was.
Yes, sir.
And that's the thing, right? It's like, this is an erotica. Stjepan could just show you all that stuff. But again, the actual BDSM, the sex, even though we get hints of it, and obviously we do see, he does show as much as he wants to show, but he doesn't actually show the actual act. It just cuts to the next scene. Like, because again, it's not really that important. But, you know, but we do get the aftermath of what happened. And I love how Ali says, like, you know, like the Windows tune you hear when you restart your PC. But it's like, oh, by the way, sorry, Mac users, but yeah, that's exactly how this shit felt.
Funny.
It's like I was awakened. And then literally, like, it's like once they kind of like come to, and again, we don't see what they what occurred, but like it's kind of like the aftermath, and it's like, listen, like Lisa, Allie's kind of a little awkward. She's like, listen, I understand, like that was pretty intense. I know we kind of, you know, we liked it in the moment. I understand if this is like a one-time thing for you, like, you know, like I understand if you don't want to end things here, it would hurt, but I understand. Immediately, she's like, Lisa kisses her, and she's like, you know, kisses her, she's like, you know, whatever you wish is fine with me, my mistress. So she embraces that shit, and Allie's like, fuck yeah, I did a good job. It's great. But she's reassured, like, listen, was it too much? Like, she's just like, no, like it was. She's like, you know, it was like, no, she said, she asked if it was too much, but she's like, wait, did you hear me say Sunstone? I fucking love that shit. And I was like, yes, good shit. But I don't have this page because again, I couldn't put it on YouTube, but they kind of you know, they asked to take a shower together. It's like, yeah, but like give me a moment to stand first. And it cuts to them, you know, in the shower, and they pretty much go into the kind of the method of like, you know, this is the part, like after a session occurs in BDSM, there's a thing called aftercare where it's more essentially like, you know, cuddling, kind of like, you know, washing up, taking care of each other, where it's a lot more focusing on like the intimacy of it and all, instead of not just, you know, just typical dom sub stuff. And I love this scene. It's very intimate, it's very, you know, heartwarming, and like it literally like kind of shows that, like, you know, even though throughout the course of this whole interaction they're going as friends, but like you can tell that like, no, like they clearly are into each other, but they just like, you know, but they're just not ready to, you know, take that, they don't want to move that fast, know what I mean? But yeah, you know, like, you know, she's blowing her hair, and Allie is blow drying Lisa's hair and just like taking care of her, and like Lisa's just like admiring like the collar, like she still has the collar on her neck and doesn't want to take it off. It's really sweet. It's a very sweet moment, and I love the fact that Allie says to Lisa that, like, you know, I think you should wear the I think you should wear the collar in public. It like suits you. And she's like, it's like, are you sure? Like, you know, like I can't just wear this shit like everywhere I go. Like I can't do it on like, you know, like I can't do it like, you know, on I can't do this like, I mean, because we only do this on Fridays. And she's like, you know, yeah, you can do it on freaking Mondays too. Like, who cares? Like, you know, it's you can kind of tell her, like, you know, when they're together, like, and honestly, it reflects the whole sub dom thing where like, Lisa is very more timid and shy, but yet Allie's more confident and like, you know, kind of, you know, outgoing a little bit. It's really interesting. So then she leads her to, she leads her to the living room where they like kind of like just chill, watch movies, eat Chinese. They order Chinese food and they eat it together. And then when it's time to go to bed, she asks about the room. She said, no, we're gonna go back to the regular bed. And they pretty much say goodnight. And I love how Lisa's like, wait, are you really tired? Like tired? And she's like, silence. And she's like, yes. And she goes like, yes, mistress. And it's like, she's like, they're like, it's so cute, it's adorable. They're embracing the shit. It's great. So it cuts to the next morning. They make breakfast, you know, and they pretty much organize plans to do this, you know, again in a week. And and then they pretty much like, you know, they leave the night, you know, they leave the day. Like Lisa does her walk of shame, but it's like a good walk of shame. Like she feels good and she's excited.
The walk of pride.
The walk of pride, no pun intended. And literally, like they're just like, you know, there's the Lisa narrating is like reflecting on the moment, and the fact that, you know, that like that was one of the best times of her life, because it was not just, they didn't just do all the things that they said they would do online, but like, you know, it was awkward and it was casual and it was funny and it was, you know, like it, like, and like she even, and again, it's like, you know, like it's even though they're friends, they say themselves like friends, like you can tell, like, you know, like they're into each other. And then and I love how the fact that like when she's walking away, she's like, Alan's right behind her looking at her, you know, and yeah, and the fact that she goes on the bus and underneath her scarf she has the collar on, and she looks at it and she's like, you know, and like, you know, the fact that like, you know, that I'm gonna be, she says on the bus, she's like, yeah, it was obvious that for the rest of that Saturday, I was gonna have to accept the single track nature of my thoughts. And then like, you know, she just looks at her collar and is like, my mistress, like she's like, I have a mistress now, like yay me. And at the same time, it juxtaposes to Allie thinking about the same thing, how great the night was and how it was amazing, how like maybe she should call Alan and tell Alan about it. And like, you know, what did she even say to him? And she's like, that like she literally had the best night of her life. And yeah, it's so real. It's such real shit, bro. Like it's and I want to just add this point as well too, that like, I remember hearing Stjepan and Linda say this while they were being interviewed by Common Drake, and Ali says it here as well. I forgot to mention it, but like the way the BDSM is kind of treated amongst, I guess, at least from Ali's perspective, as well as Ali and Lisa's perspective, as well as Stjepan and Linda's perspective, is that people that do BDSM is essentially just LARPing. It's essentially just LARPing. They're a bunch of just nerds, but instead of like doing D&D, they're like doing like bondage. Like, you know, it's considered like, that's like kind of the thing with like how BDSM is treated in this book. It's just like another hobby that two people are just, you know, fascinated with, that they have, that two people you know, are have in common. Like, you know, like, I love how
hobbies, you know.
Yeah. So I love how casual it is. It's treated, because again, it's more about this relationship that's much more important. But it cuts to Ali thinking more about the night, and you know, she kind of, you know, starts, you know, kind of getting a little too heated and starts, you know, starts wanking a little bit. And to the point where Alan just barges into a room and is like, hey, so how'd it go? And she's like, what the fuck? Oh, like, do you knock? And she's like, oh, you know, like, listen, like, you know, you casually barged into my place. Why can't I casually barge into yours? But fair. Yeah. But he pretty much is like teasing her and like, you know, telling her like how it went. And she's like, you know, like he's like, she's shy, but you know, and he's egging her to tell her what was going on, and she's acknowledging how much of an asshole he is, and he's like, yeah, I know I'm an asshole, but listen, like you should be like, I love how like he's looking at me like, you should be thanking me. I'm the one who built that shit for you last second, like, you know, and they pretty much, you know, she, by the look on her face, you could tell, like, oh, was that good? And he was like, yeah, like it was. And he's like, yeah, it was, and she, like, you know, like, and you made good use of the bed, and he's like, you might say so, and he's like, was it a one-time deal? It's like, she's coming back tonight, and it's like, oh shit, so yeah, I said in a week, no, they're coming back, literally like the next day, and yeah, then and she pretty much, you know, as always, you know, as two friends who have done BDSM together before. He mentions to her, he's like, hey, are you okay with, like, is this like a friend thing? Like, you know, like, or is it something more? And she's like, yeah, I guess it's just a friend thing. And he's like, you know, you're having BDM session with a friend again, or what happened last time. It's like, yeah, but it's not the same, like, you and I, like, you know, we're just testing stuff out. And it's like, yeah, I'm testing pretty much, yeah. And then she, like, is she a real sub? And she's just like, a real submissive. And she's like, yeah, like, she is. And then he teases like, oh, you lost your subginity. She's your first sub. And he's like, shut up. Like, it's like they pretty much have like a brother and sister relationship, which I think is really funny. And yeah, it's just like, you know, at the same time, remind her, like, you know, don't get me wrong, like, you know, obviously, like, it didn't work out between us because, you know, two dominant partners are a poor match together. But she asked him, do you think this could work? And he's like, how should I know? I've never even met the girl. Like, did you like her? And she's like, yeah. And like, he's like, the more they talk, the more he can tell that, yeah, like, this is something more than just a friendship. There's two friends, you know, doing a hobby together. Like, this is something more. But she doesn't really want to go into it. And so it transitions back to Lisa at work at the diner because she has to cover someone's shift. And she cannot stop thinking about that night. Literally, she's wearing a scarf around her neck. Because she has the collar and like she doesn't want to take it off, and the fact that she has the collar around her neck, and she doesn't want people to, like, you know, think she's weird. But one of her coworkers, who's someone that her Valerie's one of her coworkers that she can't stand because she's very pushy and judgmental. She asked about the scarf. She says, "Oh, because I had a hickey around my neck, I just want to cover it up to look professional." It's like, "Oh, rough, wild night, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah," and yeah, it kind of was. And she's like, "Oh, so what's he like?" So he assumes it's a man. He's like, and she's like, he. And he's like, well, he is something. And the more she's describing the like all the traits that you would expect that you kind of that she's describing with to her, because, you know, she's a dumb, you know, straight woman. She is attributing to Al. He's like, oh, you know, he's confident, and, like, you know, he absorbs this aura of dominance. At the same time, we get this page of, you know, Alan and he's playing video games together and just chilling. You know, like, this, you know, he's like, you know, it's like, you know, he has this like this dignity to him, and he's confident, and he has this aura about him, and this dominant aura about him.
Aura.
Yeah, right. And he, like, you know, and he hits all the right spots. Like, he just knows me inside and out. And she's like, okay, must be nice. And like, I'm like, she jelly as fuck. And then she's like, you know, seems nice. It's like, yeah, she really is. And she's like, she. I was like, she. And she's like, oh shit. And she's like, so you're a lesbian? And
you're one of them. It's like, you're one of them. Like, almost like, you're.
Mm-hmm. And then she's like, it's like, not. She's like, no, it's just, you know, it's just fun, you know. It's like, fun, yeah, sure. So and she gets a little bit of that alley cat aura. Like, got a problem with that? And she's just like, no, I don't. No, it's your life. Do what you want. It's your business. And she just awkwardly, like, walks away. But yeah, and I love it. She's like good riddance. Oh, the way she said it, lesbian, and she's like, huh. But I don't know about you, Shane. I think it's safe to assume that, like, I think they're both bi or bisexual, or maybe like bi, or maybe even pan.
They're both at least questioning. I think they both are not. They're definitely not exclusively lesbian or heterosexual. So I would, yeah, either bi or pan. Like that.
Yeah, bi or pan. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But once work is over, she immediately rushes home, starts getting ready, and, you know, is going in a hurry and decides to put on something a little more risque that requires a big trench coat to cover up. And but at the same time, it's like she doesn't want it to be too much, but because of how last night went, she wants to kind of like up the ante a little bit. And at the same time, Allie is thinking, read. It's like maybe I should greet her as a friend. Like how should I approach this? And Alan is making me question my first impression. And she's kind of again second guessing how should she approach this? What should she wear? Just to affirm the status of what's going on. And the fact that she has to flip a coin, decide should she approach her kind of like as a casual friend wear or just go full on like dominatrix. And it's like she said, she's like, yeah, this is getting me nowhere fast. Heads for friends, tails with benefits. She flips the coin, and Lisa narrates it while she rings the doorbell. She's like, the coin landed on heads. But Allie told the coin to go fuck itself, and she comes out wearing this like amazing outfit. And I think it's like that's one of my favorite things about Stjepan Sejic's artwork. I think his costume designs are incredible. Like I think his costume designs are great. And it's kind of wild to know like that he's a part of the community, so he's probably like seen a lot of this stuff in person. He's probably had a lot of inspiration. So like Allie. So Allie comes in this really awesome, like Bayonetta-esque, like outfit, which Lisa's like, oh damn, like you got a wardrobe on you, it's wild, but then Lisa reveals that like what she's wearing, and I had to obviously because can't show this, but I blocked it off. She's pretty much essentially wearing nothing. She got nuts because she only got like bottoms and stuff on.
Got no clothes on.
She got no clothes on. And then she pretty much is like, like I love the fact that she was like, it's like, Allie's like, I wasn't sure if I should wear this. Like, didn't know if you were gonna come as a friend or like, oh, come on, Allie. Then when she reveals what she got on, she's like, I think we proved last night that we can have both. And it's like, bro, the riz these characters have is crazy. Stop. Like, and Allie was like just interacting that with her eyes glowing. She's just like, listen, I presume you have some free time on hand because I have so many ideas. And I don't have this page, but it transitions to them again now doing the next Dom sub session together, and it's a lot more intense than the last one. A lot's going on. A lot of straight jacket action, some blindfolding action, and some ball gag action, and just Allie just just Lisa being as restrained as she possibly can while Allie's just watching, just like putting her heels into her thighs and shit. It's like, wow, all right,
damn,
god damn. But I love all this is happening there. She's like, yeah, not my most dignified moment. But I like how she subscribes what's going on. She's like a mere plaything, touch, poke, tease, unable to resist squirming and imagining her predatory amused look. And she said that had been so maddeningly and being so madly turned on that if I could at this point I'd hump her leg, but like again, not my most dignified moment. And the fact that she admires how good of a dominatrix that she is, like how even though this is her first time being having a sub, how naturally talented she is at it, and she admires that, and it really is drawn to that that energy that she's exhibiting. And they kind of like, again, I have this page, but they share this like passionate kiss with like this ball gag in her mouth, and it's like, woo, good. It's steamy, but then she goes to just like she even said like I could describe everything that happened and all the O's that she experienced and all that, but like it's not really important, like but it's not that part's not really important. But the most important thing is that like Allie, even though Allie was naturally good at being a dominatrix, and she, even when she messed up, she learned quick, and it's just Allie was a true dom, my mistress, and it's just like So after that, transitions to the next morning, and they're just talking and catching up. They're hanging out with each other. They have some breakfast, drink some coffee, and we get to learn a little bit more about Allie and the fact that obviously she lives alone, and the fact that she seems to have a lot of money to spend because she's just constantly buying stuff, and she's like, why do you have so much BDSM stuff and you're not using it? And it's like, why aren't you not going to like the clubs or whatever? Like, and we mentioned and I forgot to mention earlier, but Alan mentions Crimson, which is again a nod to which is a BDSM club that is mentioned throughout the series and is a part of the Perverse. Like the crossover Crimson After Hours takes place at the Crimson BDSM club. She was like, it's more what she does is kind of, she doesn't like club and she's more intimate. She's more private. But yeah, she works in software development and makes a lot of money because she can afford this kind of like brownstone, while Lisa is working at a diner, like just living in a regular apartment. And I love how the fact that her mom, she mentioned like how her family is, and Allie was like, yeah, her sister is married with kids. Her mom her and her mom don't really have a good relationship and likes to brag that her sister is married and has a family already. While Allie, despite her mom, works a really well-known job, has a really high-paying job, and bought a house, and essentially bought a house in New York to give her mom something else to brag about. So she did all that out of spite, and it's like, it's awesome. And I also love the fact that Lisa notices the fact after this conversation, like, yeah, I understand, people are complex and people have an armor up, when they interact with society, but like hearing Allie speak about her life and and all that stuff, she kind of realized Allie's a dominatrix. But as Allie is a dominatrix, but Allie as my friend, she's lonely. Like you can tell she's just a lonely person, and it kind of gives at least the opportunity to maybe fill that crack in Allie's life. But yeah, they hang out, start playing video games, and then while they're hanging out, she's probably not, oh my god, how much it bugged her at first, that she only had two friends, which was herself and Alan. But at the same time, it's but she's funny because she's funny and she's attractive, and besides her sexual taste, nothing about her stood out. She's just really a normal person outside of her being a dom. So it's kind of interesting how they both kind of have, and I feel like maybe this is normal in the BDSM community, but they're who they are in real life and who they are when they're either in the roles of a dom or a sub is kind of like an alter ego, like an alternate personality, they kind of go into, which I think is very interesting the way it's described. Also forgot to mention as well, Lisa kind of acknowledged that Allie just says that the reason why she buys stuff is she likes to buy. She just likes to spend her money wisely, and then Lisa's just saying she's a hoarder. That's what it is. She's just a hoarder. And yeah, literally and then also the fact there was Alley Cat, which is the dom persona, and then Allie, who is just the regular kind friend in person. And the way they wake up next morning to each other, and we get I don't think I have this page. Shit, I wish I had this page. Well, yeah, because I had to censor it. But we get an amazing page that's fully painted of Allie and Lisa together in bed together, and they're kind of it's the page is just it's white. It's all white, but it's Allie and Lisa kind of wrapped in their in a red silk bed sheet together, and it's surrounded by white space. It's really well rendered, really well done.
I was gonna say I knew exactly what phone you were talking about when you were like, I want to show it. It looks cool, but I can't. I was like, it's the red one.
It's the red one. But she's really going through her thoughts. Like, yeah, like in reality, like she really went to Allie for sex. Like she really went to she really went to Allie. She met Allie online and wanted to meet her just honestly for sex. But like the more they're interacting with each other, the more they're spending time together. Like, you know, the past like 2 days, like the more she like sees again, like it's what we've been talking about the whole time. Like they see something, there's something more there. She wants more than just to be her friend. And then like literally she looks at her while she's asleep and just looking at her sleeping. She thinks it's adorable and she thinks it's super cute. And the fact that like, you know, like she's just staring, like she loves the way she smiles, and while she bites her lip, she refers to her as my Allie, and then just kisses her on the forehead. But she's like, "What the fuck am I doing? We're friends." It's like it's so cute. It is the cutest thing. Like it's again, it's so real. Like I love it. But also I forgot to again. I'm just remembering stuff as well. But I remember previously as well. Like after the first night, like Allie just is remembering just those little things about her, like the way her eyes, like the way she like bites her out, the way Lisa bites her lip. Like she like the more things they know about each other, the more they're into each other, and it's great. But again, they realize this is like this whole experience thing for them to figure out, you know, over time. The more they continue to do this, together. So then, so Lisa wakes up. She hears, you know, a door, the doorknob rustle. She thinks like they're about to be robbed. Opens the door. It's Alan, and Alan says, "Yo, it's payback time," because you know because Lisa loves to barge. Allie loves to barge into his house, and then they awkwardly like meet each other for the first time. And it's just like, hey, and she's like, "Can I help you?" He's like, "Oh yeah." She's like Lisa is saying, "Can I help you?" But it's in translation, where does Allie keep her knives? Like, he's like, "I'm about to stab this motherfucker," New York style. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm Alan. Lisa's you must be Lisa. Alan, you know, mentioned you. I don't know if she mentioned me." And he says, "Oh, so it's a very like awkward situation." And he's like, you know, like, "Yeah, no, it's so cool. I got coffee and breakfast for her. I'll just be in the living room." And I love how he it had me dying what he said. And it's like, you know, I was like, "I'm no botanist, but seeing 2 bushes in 2 days, this weekend could have gone worse." I was like, "Oh shit."
Come on, man. Come on.
Hilarious, bro.
Yeah, it's so good.
At the end of the day, you're just like, yeah, he's still just a dude.
He's funny as fuck. He's funny as fuck.
He's hilarious. Like, Alan is one of my favorite characters. So like they wake up. Lisa wakes Allie up. It's like, "Oh yeah, you had like, you know, like Alan showed up, your friend showed up, and he brought breakfast and stuff." So he's like, "Oh," and then she looks at Lisa and is like, "Oh, you don't wear robes often, do you?" And he's like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" It's like, "Oh crap!" Like literally her pum pum is just out, bro. She's like,
you know, it happens sometimes.
It happens, you know. It happens. So they meet downstairs, and it's like a very kind of like awkward kind of situation where they're just like, you know, trying to like, it's Alan meeting the girl that, you know, Allie has been obsessed with online with, and the fact that he mentions that, like, you know, "Oh yeah, by the way, just want to so you know, like I'm the one who built all that stuff y'all have been using." And then Lisa gets defensive, like, "Wait, you told him? Like you know? Like why'd you tell him?" Like, "I didn't, I swear." And like you can really tell, like, yeah, like Lisa and the understanding between Lisa and Al is that they wanted to keep this private to themselves. Like that's kind of the relationship between a dom and a sub. They want, like, what they do is their business. But obviously Alan, to like, you know, kind of lose the attention, says like a very awkward kind of memory that they both share, that he shared with Allie. Do you remember what he says? I forget what he says. I don't. But it calls out to spit out her coffee. Like she almost chokes on her coffee, and freaking Lisa's like patting her on the back. Oh wait, I have it. It's just like, yeah, it's like yeah. Let me diffuse this thing. One time in college, Allie and I put butt plugs in each other's asses to see how that feels, and she just coughed and choked on her coffee. But because of that moment, it's a lot more relaxed, a little more chill. and Ali and Lisa and Alan start talking to each other more. They are getting more casual. There's and then Lisa and Alan and Lisa are talking about designs and stuff, and it kind of like how it's demonstrated here, where it's like, because they're both doms, like they're mostly focusing on each other, while Ali as the sub is behind them, sitting on the couch, just watching them and just admiring them. It's like, oh my gosh, like she's like how much she loves seeing both of them just talk about their lives and just designs and all that stuff. Like, it's a very, even outside of them playing, it's like very, like you can see how their roles kind of reflect them, even like in like normal situations. I really like that as well. And like, yeah, the more they, and like, they're getting to know each other, they're playing video games together. And it's funny, like, while like like they're playing video games, like literally like Lisa and Ali are getting intimate. Wow. Alan's there, and he's like, guys, like, you got two girls kissing right next to me. I'm still a dude. Like, please stop.
You gotta knock it off.
Please don't make this weird. Oh shoot, Matrell, what's going on, bro? Thanks for joining us. And yeah, and while this is happening, like, he's making measurements for her for like future gear for her and Ali to use. So again, like they're building them. I really like this part. They're building more of a rapport. They're getting to know each other more. They're building a rapport and like getting used to each other. It's really a nice, sweet moment between the three of them. I really like it. And the fact that Alan is making something special for her, and she's like, special like what? Like what kind of special? And she's like pajamas. And she's like, oh shit, like she want her to stay. And so when pretty much it's the end of the night, Ali decides to leave because she has work. Lisa has to leave because she has work the next day. And she says, it's great meeting Alan, and Alan says same here. And pretty much they end the night with Lisa and Ali sharing a kiss, waiting for next time. And there's a little bit of kind of a second thoughts between the two of them, because after all of that, after all the plans, after the past 2-3 days of them spending time together, them playing together, they're just not. There's a little bit of like hesitancy between the two of them, like, and there's a lot open. There's a lot on the table. There's a lot on the air. There's a lot open in the air for them. So once they go back home to their regular lives after having an amazing weekend, she's just like, okay, now I gotta go back to my regular life. However, she still has a little reminder of the weekend, which was, the collar. She's still wearing it, like she hasn't taken it off, and literally she has a small reminder of her, my alley cat, my mistress, and while they it's kind of a I don't know about you, Seamus, but when you're reading this part of them, it goes back and forth between Ali like getting ready to go to bed and chill out, and then Lisa doing the same. Yeah. Like there's a little bit of hesitancy of like they could literally just end it here, but they can't get they can't get each other out of their own minds, and they can't stop thinking about each other to the point where like while they try to go to sleep and rest, the first thing they do is wake up and and start to text each other. And it's pretty much, them texting each other. We get this amazing page of saying, like, again, negative space, but with a beautiful rendition of Ali and Lisa wrapped in their own bedspreads. Literally texting and asking, like, hey, like pretty much reigniting that conversation, being like, yeah, like this is
me and you talking about absolute Batman.
Honestly, man, this is how I be every time we talk about absolute Batman every night.
Oh my god, you hear what happened? You hear what they did to Gordon?
Honestly, bro, yeah, you saw the Gundam Robins and shit. Yeah. So pretty much it's like, yeah, like this could be the end, but they could just end things here because but they're again, they have that spark, they have that connection with each other, and they just don't want to let each other go, and they try to protect each other, and they pretty much talk about what they're doing and the fact that they're just they're mentally reliving the weekend and thinking about things, and and it kind of ends with Lisa being like, nothing much, laying in bed and mentally reliving this weekend. And then Allie responds, good girl. Now here's what your mistress wants you to do. And that's how volume 1 of Sunstone ends. So it's kind of like, starts with kind of like a will they, won't they, but then it kind of confirms, yeah, they're definitely going to be be a part of each other's lives.
They will indeed.
Yeah, so yeah, man. So what do you think of well, I guess final thoughts, I guess. But what do you think of what are your thoughts on Sunstone Volume 1?
It's fun, it's cute, it's incredibly well written. When you start this book, you already kind of know what you're getting into, just because you're like, yeah, I see the cover,
Mm-hmm.
I think the level of character depth that is in this book is surprising, and I think it's very incredibly artistically done and tastefully done, the way that Sejic kind of ties the BDSM aspect into the idea of a relationship, and how that these people kind of are using each other to kind of feel a little more free in their own lives, but that freedom that they are using each other for is actually what's making them like come closer together. You know what I mean? I think dichotomy then placed in the world of BDSM really fits it, in the same way that BDSM is a very like contradictory act, the way that you are like supposed to be like tying up someone or hurting someone in the name of love. It's the same way where it's like here, where it's like they are both using each other, but in the name of being happy, and then that is what's leading both of them realize that the act isn't what's bringing them happiness, it's that the person that they're with is what's making them
yeah,
very interesting. For sure. It definitely carries the rest of the book and makes you go like, yo, I need to read more of this shit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the same things too. It's like, it's more, again, I love how like the relationship is the focus of this book, but like like the relationship is the focus of the book, but like this book is also about like, but there's also BDSM in it. Like BDSM is like the afterthought. It's just the bonus.
It's integral to the plot, and it's used. BDSM is used in the same way that like at least an old school, well written Spider-Man comic would use Spider-Man, where like most of it is a Peter Parker issue, and then at the end you get the big Spider-Man payoff that is the action, but the action's thematically tied into what came before. You know what I mean? You're like, Peter Parker also learns a lesson while he's fighting the monster. It's the same thing here, but it's
exactly
a BDSM scene where it's like, oh, now they are, more physically enacting the ideas that were presented to you earlier in the issue, and they're worried about relationship stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll say this, man. I mean, again, like Sunstone, like even though to be fair, I haven't read all of it still. Like I've only really read the first.
You're a large.
I only read the first 2 volumes because I own the first 2 volumes, but I still to this day always say that like this book is like Lisa and Allie is probably like the most like well written. It's probably the most well written relationship I've ever read, just due to the fact that like how simple yet complex it is and how real it is. Like even though this is a very queer relationship, I feel like anybody can relate to it, like even no matter your sexuality. And the fact that like BDSM has used as a part of the plot, but also it's a part of the plot in terms of how these characters are connected, but is also treated as in a very casual manner. Like again, it's BDSM are just a bunch of nerds. They're a bunch of nerds, but instead of doing D&D or LARPing, they're just wearing leather and bonding themselves and being dominant and submissive to each other. It's instead of LARPing, it's sex, and it's like it's so funny and it's so interesting. But like the writing is fantastic. The artwork is, again, like no one does panel work like this man does. Like it's crazy. Again, like to go back to like the corset thing in the beginning, and also how he uses rope he uses like rope in a way where it's like where into the bleed of the book, where it's like, you know, where it works with candles, and I'm sorry, in the gutter. Like it's very well done. Oh shit, Maddie's like, oh shit, y'all are still live. Hi guys, yeah, Maddie. Happy last day of Pride. Yes, we're still here, covering one of the best books ever.
The best comic ever.
One of the best comics ever. But yeah, it's very well.
Sometimes the bros got to Yuri out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, sometimes
the bros got to Yuri out.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very well done in terms of, you know, like just from a technical level. It's some of the best artwork I've seen in terms of story, in terms of like sequential, in terms of storytelling. Yeah, man, and it only goes up from here because this book came out, I believe, in I think this book was published in 2014, but it came out on DeviantArt like a few years earlier than that,
like 2011, I think.
Yeah, so like this is like so yeah, but like I recommend people check this book out for yourself, like, and you'll see like if this is the start of Stjepan Sejic, like how what he does later on is even more impressive, especially what he does like Harleen and stuff like that. Harleen's
really good.
Yeah, but yeah, man, Ali and Lisa Forever, like, you know, they're amazing. And there's also right now there's 8 trade paperbacks. The most recent one came out, I believe, last year. Because I know this goes into like there's like 4 volumes of Sunstone, and they spin off with like Sunstone Mercy, where it's like a prequel to when Alan and Ali were in college, and we had to see like how that relationship was because it's teased out the course of like the first 4 volumes.
Prequel of this shit. To learn how BDSM was done.
Yeah, and then we had a prequel. And I think the next volume is now going back into the main storyline.
Oh, nice! Thank God. You know what? Because I remember catching up on it and going like, "Hey, not bad, but like, when are we getting back to the real? When are we getting back to my girls? What's going on?"
Yeah. So I
need this hetero bullshit.
And I know recently, earlier this year, Stjepan had a Kickstarter for the art book for Sunstone. I really wanted it, but it wasn't cheap. like I wanted the full art book. I wanted the hardcover with the slipcase and everything, and like all that stuff. But I was like, I was like, this ain't like the price was like, nah, I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, man. So what would you give Sunstone out of 10, bro?
This first volume, I'd give like an 8. I'd say the art's gorgeous, the characters are really solid, but you definitely can tell that this is like the start of a very good series. You know what I mean? It's not hitting like the heights or the it's not doing anything really crazy, but it's doing a lot of stuff, a lot of like the basic stuff very, very well. And I think that's why it's like a very good start. It makes you want to read more, which I think is always a successful start.
Absolutely. I'm gonna read Maddie's comment real quick. She's saying, I read this shit on like DeviantArt. Yeah, I remember Maddie. Yeah, I remember also like soon just like before I met Seamus, like you said you read that book too. And I was like, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that's read this thing.
Hey Maddie, that's literally what I was saying at the start of this, where I was like, I remember seeing it on DeviantArt and how like Sejic was like one of the first DeviantArt people, like online art people to actually like be pushed on like another. You know what I mean? Like when I saw him doing a DC comic, I was like, "Holy shit, that's the DeviantArt guy." I remember seeing on the front page occasionally.
Yeah, but he also it's like before the webcomic boom. Yeah, like he was kind of a pioneer. Like, well, in terms of like modern webcomics, like he was kind of a pioneer in a way. But yeah. He made it. Yeah, it's like like Stjepan Sejic is a big name. Like his artwork is worth money. It's worth money now. Like him and his wife have a ton of books together. Like, you know, like we Maddie, when we watch the video, go to the beginning. We talked about the Perverse, which is the unofficial title of like the Sunstone universe that him and his wife have made together. Yeah, man, it's great. And also just to remind people, I'm gonna put a link to the book down below for you where you can buy it, but as well, like but all this stuff is still on DeviantArt. You can still read all of Stjepan's and Stjepan as well as his wife Linda's comics for free on DeviantArt as well. I think DeviantArt and Tumblr, I believe. But yeah. So yeah, we'll just check it out. But yeah, and also just real quick, if you get the trade paperback, and I'm gonna full screen my joint real quick. But On the back, you get like some really cool, like so you get some really cool like some concept art stuff. There's some really cool art in the back. But like this page that's like a conversation about making Sunstone between Stjepan and his wife Linda. I think it's really cool. You got these really like detailed like these crazy like designs and stuff. Like I don't know if you can see that, but these crazy ass designs and shit. Again, like his character, you see a lot of like really cool character design work. I love this thing too. Like this, like some really cool character design and costume work here. Yeah, it's again like he's one of my favorite artists of all time. I will always admire this man's work in a little cool rendered portrait. I love how this shirt. He says like the only thing straight about me is my jacket. Like I love that. Yeah, good stuff, man. So yeah, you get some cool artwork on the back. I know the bigger collections have more stuff in them, and the new editions of the trades are going to be coming out I think sometime this year. But so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did it, Seamus. We did it. Round of applause for us. We finally covered this book. Oh man. Yeah. So, all right. So that's the people. So thanks for everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Please, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and hit the notification bell so you know when you drop new content. If you please go drop the links below. Please, even though we went through the book, we want you to read the book for yourself. So please either buy yourself a copy or go on the webtoon, go on the DeviantArt on Stjepan's DeviantArt page where you can read it all for free. It's fantastic. And yeah, so yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing more one and dones in the future. I have a few more one and dones planned. Seamus, I'll tell you some of them off camera because I feel like you'll approve some of them. But we have more there's gonna be more videos planned. Tune in Thursday because I originally planned on it to be Wednesday, but tune in Thursday. We're gonna be doing our Supergirl review, which is gonna be a lot of fun. And then please check out the rest of our recent After Dark episode that we did, talking Spider Noir, talking the X-Men 97 stuff, talking X-Men 97, talking Spider-Man A New Day. Please check out the DMC review that we did as well for DMC season 2. Check out some of the clips. Check out some of the clips. Check out the reactions. Check out some of the other content that we've done as well. And also we have plans to continue Why the Last Man because it's still happening. I promise we're gonna continue it. I promise. And also in some interviews as well. I'm trying to get on the ground as well. Good night, Maddie. Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, so we put a lot of hard work and sweat, blood, sweat, and tears into what we do, and we appreciate all the love and support. Again, we try our best to be consistent, but we all have lives and stuff at the end of the day. But we do this for y'all because we care about y'all. Again, as always, at least today, happy last day of Pride, happy Pride Month. Y'all are loved. Y'all are loved and appreciated. Love is love. Fuck the haters. And shout out to the BDSM community as well. Y'all are appreciated.
Shout out.
And as always, get home safe. And we'll catch y'all next time. All right.
Peace.